Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Canadian Jazz Vocalist, composer, and arranger Sarah Jerrom. We talked to her on March 12, 2021 about her newest CD coming out this year called Dream Logic. This new CD shows off her formidable skills as a songwriter, composer, lyricist, and improviser. This project draws its sound from jazz, folk, and pop music and deals with the themes of hope, grief, infertility, and love. She has a great story. Get to know her. Enjoy.
Hey, thanks for taking a minute out for the show. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. I'm thrilled. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. So let's dive into your latest CD, Dream Logic. And I want to know first and foremost, it's a very strange time on Earth with the pandemic. And I mean, it's kind of like things are kind of coming out of it. We're still in it. Did this project get stalled at all? What are your feelings on this coming out right now?
Yeah, great question. It was a tough call about whether or not to release it during the pandemic or not. There were some aspects that got delayed. We wanted to do a music video, actually, for one of the songs that got released today as a single, as an audio single instead. So, but otherwise, everything else, like we started recording this album back in 2018. We recorded it in two sessions, April 2018 and 2019. And I've just been kind of, taking my time with it. And I just felt like I got to get this out, like besides the fact that even though we can't really do maybe a live show to a live audience, people still need to see that music's happening and that, people are still creating music throughout this whole period of time. It's been a really interesting incubation process for me, for writing at least and practicing and working on music if we can't perform it. So yeah, I just thought it's now or never. Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you want the listener to get from this experience? There's so much is put into an album, but what do you ultimately want them to get from this specific project?
That's a great question. I mean, I just hope that this music makes someone feel connected and has some sort of, personal expression that they can connect to it. It's definitely one of my most personal albums, and I wrote it through a sort of a dark period in my life, and there are some tracks that I think, some songs that I hope will specifically resonate with people. That's my main thing, is I just hope it makes people feel uplifted and, part of as with any art, it's theirs now to take of how they would like it to be.
Well, I mean, that's the idea of it, I think, is that, tackling issues in an artistic way. I mean, is it a cathartic feeling now that you've had the chance to get it out? I mean, it's almost like when you do actually release what you've been holding on to, that it makes everything that much better. Do you find that to be the case with delving into personal issues on an album like this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And moving on to the next project as well, letting it go. And exactly, it is very cathartic. That's a great word.
Talk to me a little bit about the pandemic. Obviously we are all going through our things. How has it been going? What do you miss the most, and what are you looking forward to getting back to?
Oh, okay. I actually just was looking at my year ago post on social media, and just yesterday I did, a year ago yesterday, I should say, I did a gig. It was a teaching gig at, I was subbing at Humber College in Toronto for my friend Laura Swanky. She runs a vocal jazz singer group. And yeah, singing shoulder to shoulder with other singers. I really, really miss that. Being able to breathe in the same room as other musicians, whether they're singers or instrumentalists, having that audience, just that infinity energy of being able to play something and you just feel the audience kind of response, and their response makes you respond, and it's just this connection that you really can't replace on screens or live streams. Yeah, I really obviously miss that. But like I said, I have been spending quite a lot of time writing. I've been working on actually writing a project for a large ensemble over the past few years, and so that's been kind of like a nice a way to just, if I can escape from the pandemic, is to go into my writing studio and do that work and And then, you know, when all this is over, we're all just going to be champing at the bit to get this music out again and performing to live audiences. And I think audiences are going to want to come out.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Talk to me about how the beginnings in jazz, the seeds of music were planted in you.
Oh, great question. I had a bit of a roundabout journey into the jazz world. I actually did a year of classical singing at University of Toronto, and I wasn't very happy in that program. It was a great program, but it was not, opera was not my bag. And so, but I could see like this like corner of the building that all these other people were hanging out in, and they were all like having a really great time. I was very intrigued by, first of all, just like the vibe in that area. And I thought, okay, so what's all this about? So then I started checking out jazz from there, actually. It was just by like seeing how happy that music was making a group of people. Anyway, so I auditioned for the jazz program and transitioned from that to there. Kind of got into composing in sort of the mid-2000s after going to the Banff Center for the Arts and doing the jazz and creative music program there, and really got inspired to start contributing to the new jazz music scene. You know, we need new music. So, yeah, that's kind of where I guess all of it sort of stemmed from, was that one moment of envying other people's scene for a second.
Sure. What was the first live jazz show you ever saw that made you think, I want to get on stage and do that?
Carol Welsman performing with the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. She had this album called Swing Ladies Swing. It was amazing. The Roy Thompson Hall in Toronto. And I just remember Guido Basso was he was performing for one of the soloists, and the gentleman beside me just, he just lost it during Guido's solos, and it just made me go, oh my gosh, like this is so amazing. This music is so amazing. The singer is so amazing. I want to do that.
What do you like the best about being a performer, being on stage, waking up every day knowing that you're in a position of making music?
I think it's like a really great honor to, like, I wake up grateful every day that I get to do this. And, you know, it's a hard road sometimes, many times, but the feeling that you're not necessarily creating music for you. Obviously, you are creating music to express yourself, but that you get to go out and maybe just like change someone else's mood for like 5 minutes while they listen to your song. You know, that's a really amazing gift to be able to actually to experience that as a performer, to see that. You know, we did my band Dream Logic, we did like a house concert in the backyard back in August during the pandemic, and it was all social distance and everything, and it was just so awesome to see. You know, everybody was wearing masks in the audience, but you could just see people's body language change. They were kind of starting to relax. You could see like a couple people, like obviously they were in their own little bubble, but they reached for each other's hand during one of the songs. And it was just like, wow, like that's such an amazing thing to be able to just, music is so powerful, you know? It's such a gift for everybody.
Yeah, I actually last night went to a show, very intimate show with two Kansas City veterans, and it was quite something to be able to see that again. So,
oh wow!
Yeah, I think it's going to be a revival at a high degree. So, what artists were you listening to? Albums that really influenced the way that you approach what you do?
For Dream Logic, I mean, I love Joni Mitchell, so she's a huge influence on my songwriting. Who else? I mean, like, it kind of goes back. Like, I've always loved the singer behind the piano sort of songwriter. So Tori Amos, Sarah Sween, Kate Bush, like so many female singer-songwriters, and also my bandmates, like Harley Card. He's like such a prolific songwriter. We included a couple of his songs on the album, which I'm so happy that he agreed to do. You know, I'm inspired by the people in my own music scene. Rebecca Hennessy just came out with a great album called All the Little Things You Do. And, you know, it's like, how far do you want to go down the rabbit hole of songwriters that influence? But compositionally, too, I love, you know, big band writers like Maria Schneider, Christine Jensen, Bob Brookmeyer. Those are just the top of the of the mountain of these giants. That
So when we do return, when you get back on stage, when we get back in the audience in earnest, what do you hope we all realize about this long time away from live music?
Well, you know, I think like we're all guilty of that, taking it for granted that it's always going to be there, right? And I certainly probably should have gone to a few more shows that I regret not going to, staying in and whatever. But now I just know, like, it's going to be that you can't replace that in-person connection and witnessing a live show in person. But I also think too that it's gonna, like, this pandemic has changed the way live music will be presented. I think there's always going to be a live stream element available to people, which I agree with. Because, you know, if someone's immunocompromised, they shouldn't be excluded from being able to experience a concert, at whatever form we're at in this, like, post-virus world. But yeah, I think it's going to be huge. I think people are going to be, like, everyone's just going to not miss it anymore. We're just going to be there. I hope.
I think so. So everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your fans, but you're the one living your life. Who do you think you are?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm just trying to make something out of life, you know? Life is short, and I'm just trying to figure out what the world of music is. Like, a great teacher once said that everyone has a world of music inside of them. Everybody. So you just have to figure out what your world looks like and go from there. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And sometimes it comes out with, like, a strange filter, depending on what I'm listening to. But yeah, I guess I'm just trying to make some music before life is over.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Very nice.
So that answers that question.
Yeah, it does. And I saved the hardest for last. So, Sarah, thank you for taking some time out for Neon Jazz. Good luck with the album and the return to the stage.
Oh, thanks so much. This was a great interview. Great to talk with you, Joe. And thanks again for having me on Neon Jazz.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview. We'll give you a bit of insight into the finest singers and composers in Canada, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Sarah for her time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.